Hi, this is John with Flat 6 Motorsports, and today we're taking a look at the Stage 4 Plus Power Kit on 997.2 Turbo. Let's get into it. So in 2010, Porsche introduced the new 997.2 Turbo. So gone were the previous years of the Mezger-based 3.6 liter turbo, and Porsche put the new direct fuel injected 3.8 liter twin turbo engine into the 997.2 Turbo. That's important because it gives a little bit more potential in terms of tuning, but also better efficiency and better global emission standards with this platform. So we have a 997.2 Turbo here that we've done our Stage 4 Plus Power Kit. And so what is that? Really comes down to the basics of the turbochargers themselves. So we have a set of pure turbos. Those are an OEM turbo housing that get machined out, put a larger turbine and compressor wheel in. So that's the basis of this power kit. And then we also do full bolt-on. So we do an AMS intercooler kit. On this example, we have a Soul Performance exhaust, which is a nice X-pipe exhaust with a high flow competition style link pipe coming off the turbo for enhanced flow characteristics. This customer also chose to do an IPD plenum while we were in there. And then of course we use our Flat 6 Motorsports water meth injection kit to add a little more fueling element so that we can get more power out of this package. Now this customer as well also added a few other pieces to this build. Some nice BC forged wheels. These are their HCA 191 wheels. It's a two-piece wheel design. Kind of give it a distinctive look. This customer also chose to use the Bilstein B16 Damptronic, their PSS 10 coilover kit, so they integrate with the factory PASM system just for a really nice clean installation and the usability of the PASM system. Also upgraded the steering wheel to a newer sport design, which just has the paddle shifters, which is much nicer steering wheel for this generation vehicle. And with all that, this was also the first generation turbo to use the PDK. So it's the first gen PDK. Why don't we get in the car, drive it some, and I'll give you some impressions. This car's got a tremendous amount of acceleration. You know, honestly, to me, it feels very similar to a 991 Turbo with similar mods. I know it doesn't quite make the same amount of power, but it's pretty close. Just more of a sports car feel, a little more dramatic. And just brings that little fun factor to the car. The newer cars are so stable and controlled. This gives you a little bit more noises and movement to the chassis that makes it just more dynamic and more alive. So it's interesting. The 997 chassis is a little bit more, like I said, sports car feel. You're a little bit closer in the cockpit. You see the side of the door pretty easily. The 991 brought that kind of more grand touring concept to the 911 range, and the 992 followed suit with all wide body. So this kind of gives it a little bit of an old school, you know, more modified feel, but it still picks up the same way. Go around this turn real quick that the 991 does. PDK is a little bit slower in this relative to the newest PDK, but it still shifts well. And man, this car delivers. Just really good power. He also upgraded the pad compound on this to some Hawk ceramics, which work really well with this additional power. I mean, we're up about 250 horsepower over stock. So going from about 500 horsepower at the crankshaft to about 750 at the crankshaft, you know, is a pretty remarkable difference. And while we were on the dyno, we saw that huge, massive increase in power all across the rev range. Just put a really good, you know, power figure together in a car that's very, you know, fun to drive, very lively. A lot of people will look at this platform and think, you know, it's an older vehicle, but it's a really nice sweet spot if you're, you know, a purist type. From an enthusiast standpoint, you know, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the newer car, but it has just enough, and it's incredibly fun to drive. And it kind of gives you that nice mix of technology. It's kind of a unicorn in the way of Porsche, because it gives you kind of the older, more analog chassis feel size of the 911 that makes it, you know, kind of back to more the heritage of the 911, but it gives you that new DFI motor, which gives a lot of potential to make power. And that makes for a really fun car in this 997 chassis with a newer upgraded DFI motor. This is pushing out in our Stage 4 Plus power kit about 750 crank horsepower, which is a really nice number. Makes the car really quick, lively, adds a lot more drama than some of the newer generation 911s. So if you have a 997, feel free to check us out at flat6.com. We have a host of solutions and power kits all the way from just a simple software Stage 1 tune all the way up to a Stage 4 Plus tune. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.